Welcome back to CK1 Sports Performances. Today we're going to be breaking down the NBA workout of none other than Steph Curry, aka Chef Curry, aka the GOAT, aka three-time NBA champ, aka two-time MVP. We're going to go into his workout. We're going to see what makes him the great player that he is today, and we're going to break it down and explain how you can add it to your game. Let's go. As you can see, Steph Curry's body hasn't physically changed much since he's entered the NBA, but that doesn't mean he hasn't gotten stronger, faster, more athletic, or improved his game in other ways that we can't see visually. One thing for certain is Steph Curry is no stranger to hard work. He spends hours in the gym perfecting his body and working on things that help him in the game, like his dribbling and his shooting. He uses equipment such as the Vertimax to provide him with consistent resistance whenever he makes his shooting motion. So whenever he doesn't have that resistance, his body still reacts as if it does, and it causes him to move faster and accelerate into a shooting motion much faster than it would without it. And to be quite honest, it's something I actually noticed he does a lot with his trainers. In this particular drill, he's working on his step back jump shot using a resistance band instead of the Vertimax. First he does the movement resisted, then he does it unresisted, and immediately shoots an actual jump shot. And he continues this cycle and keeps working on this particular movement. In this particular case, he's using the Vertimax around his waist to do an escape dribble or size up his defender. In this particular movement, you can see that the resistance is pulling him forward, and he has to pull back in order to get away from the resistance and fight the resistance. He also uses the Vertimax on his wrist whenever he's dribbling. He literally has the ball on the string. This particular drill is great for when defenders are pulling on his wrist or on his arms, or when he temporarily loses the ball. This helps him focus on maintaining his dribble and focusing and fighting the resistance to maintain and continue that dribble. Steph Curry continues to use the Vertimax as he trains with his two trainers holding pads and hitting him with it as he goes up and practices finishing with contact. He uses a med ball to replace a basketball to simulate that very game specific movement, and he also continues to use the pads in his next drill using a med ball again as he's pivoting and doing a very sport specific game movement, sizing up his defender. Steph Curry does a lot of game specific movements, and in this particular movement he has a med ball right over his shoulder with his elbow tucked in, which simulates the top motion of his jump shot. He often follows up this particular exercise with shooting a few jumpers because, like I said previously, it's a game specific movement and it helps him keep his form and muscle memory. Another interesting drill that I see that Curry does is he does a basketball pounding drill with a battle rope in his opposite offhand. First he uses a weighted ball, then he replaces it with a regulation basketball, and this is great for ball control, and also the battle rope simultaneously builds strength in his off arm as he's doing the drills. Another thing I find interesting is Steph Curry uses the training mask in the off season, and this is a form of respiratory training. The mask promises to increase an athlete's endurance, stamina, conditioning, and overall their aerobic capacity to perform their sport under fatigue while they're tired. Whether the mask actually works remains to be seen, and is a topic for another video, but I just thought I'd mention it. Maybe you guys could check it out for yourselves. That's it for the video, guys. Make sure you check out part 2, and we're going to break down how these movements and how these exercises help him in his gameplay. It's about to get crazy. Let's go.